If you like crackers but don't like the extra junk that most crackers have, you're going to want to stay for this video because we're going to learn how to make not only tasty crackers, but crackers that are healthy. Hello, welcome to Nature to Tea, or welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make your own crackers. They're flavorful and most importantly, healthy, and you are also using recycled food and saving money. I'm going to show you two cracker recipes. Both will have mainly nuts and seeds with a variation of other recipes. One of the recipes I'll be using for at least the first cracker recipe is flax seeds. Now, flax seeds are amazing. However, I don't use it as much now just because of my fibroids. However, I'll be using a little bit for the first recipe using my repurposed or already used flaxseed from my flaxseed gel recipe. The other key ingredient is chia seeds. Chia seeds are amazing for satiety, especially if you're trying to manage your weight or lose weight because they're high in fiber and healthy fats. They're also a good source of antioxidants. They're anti-inflammatory, has amino-3 fatty acids, fights inflammation, and so much more. I'll also be using nuts like sunflower seeds as well as pumpkin seeds, black seeds, which are so amazing when it comes to antioxidants, as well as sesame seeds, which are a great source of calcium, healthy fats, protein, and fiber. I'll also be using basic seasonings like salt and pepper, also some nutritional yeast. The first thing I'm going to do is soak my chia seeds in water while I prepare the rest of my ingredients. So I'll be using about 3 tablespoons of chia seeds and I'll soak them in about a cup of water. I always buy organic chia seeds, and if you have access to that, get that instead of the regular kind. Chia seeds are known to expand. I think they go up to like 20 times their size when it's soaked. They also gelatinize and produce mucilage as they soak, so it will have like a jelly-like texture when you soak it. So you just want to mix it in really well in the water and just let it sit there, and now we'll prepare the rest of the ingredients. After about 10 minutes, this is what it looks like. So in another bowl, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my ingredients. I'm also using all bagel seasoning as part of my recipe. So I added about a teaspoon of that. Now I'm going to add my nuts. I am adding about 2 tablespoons of sunflower seeds. Give it a nice mix, and then I'm going to add some pumpkin seeds, about 2 tablespoons of that. I'm gonna go ahead and add the sesame seed. If you're like me, over 40 and want to improve your intake of calcium, these nuts and seeds are amazing when it comes to that, as well as antioxidants, and they are anti-inflammatory. Next, I went ahead and add the chia seeds, and now I'm just gonna mix this up really well. Next, I'm going to add my flax seeds, and this is about 2 tablespoons, and this flax seed is left over from the flaxseed gel that I made on my prior video. Now that all the nuts and seeds are in here, I keep mixing them, make sure everything is nice and incorporated before I add in my seasonings. Here I'm adding in my seasonings. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of the nutritional yeast. Next, I'm going to add some pepper and garlic salt seasoning. And since the everything bagel has salt, I'm not going to add any additional salt to this. And lastly, I'm going to add some avocado oil, about a tablespoon and a half of that, and mix everything really well. Once everything is mixed well, I'm going to let it sit for about 10 minutes before I bake it. About 10 minutes later, it is ready to be baked. So I just got a parchment paper. Now you want to add a little bit of oil on your sheet and spread it. I don't know what happened to my brush, but anyway, I just grab sometimes whatever comes in handy when I'm cooking, especially when I'm filming, because I'm always running out of storage trying to find things. But anyway, you want to dump the whole thing on the parchment paper. Next, you want to spread it as thinly as possible. And once you're done making this nice and even on the parchment paper, you can bake it on 300 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. This is what it looked like when it was done. It's nice and crispy. You just have to be very careful on how you cut it. Just be very gentle, and you can cut it however you want to cut it. You can even just snap it with your hands if you want. It doesn't have to be perfect. These crackers are delicious, crispy, and they don't have all that extra junk, the refined flour, the hydrogenated oils, the excess sodium, and all the junk that you don't need. It is easy to make, and you can literally use any nuts and seeds of your choice. I stopped buying crackers since I started making my own, and you can make so many cracker recipes depending on what flavor you're going for. Anyway, I'm going to show you my other cracker recipe using very similar ingredients but a little bit different. And I'm also using some leftover from a juice that I made. The key ingredient here are beets as well as nuts and seeds. I'm using leftover pulp, a beet juice that I made using beet carrots and other recipes. I'm going to briefly show you in a little bit. Another ingredient I'll be using is chicken bone broth to kind of help season the beets, just because beets are kind of bland. And they're not my favorite. However, I do eat them because they're very good for blood circulation, which I struggle with. So the chicken bone broth helps give it more flavor. That's why I like to add it to this recipe. First, I'm going to pour some chicken broth in a bowl and add in my chia seeds to let it soak. This is a 2 tablespoon spoon, so I added 4 tablespoons of the chia seeds, and I'm going to mix this up really well. While it sits in soak, I'm going to prepare the other ingredients. So this is the pulp from this beet juice that I made. Included in this juice is carrots, beetroot, and ginger root. So it's going to be a little spicy, but it was the taste that I was going for. So once I was done making my beet juice, I decided to save the pulp to make this amazing recipe. After I'm done soaking my chia seeds, I went ahead and added about a tablespoon of the sesame seeds, about a tablespoon of the black seeds, and then the leftover beet juice pulp is about a cup and a half. And now I'm going to mix all of these ingredients really well. Next, I'm going to add in my seasonings. Once again, I am using nutritional yeast. By the way, if you don't know what nutritional yeast is, it's a seasoning with prebiotic benefits that resembles the taste of cheese, kind of. I also add some pink Himalayan salt as well as pepper and a little bit of seasoned salt. Once again, you want to mix this really well. Make sure everything is nice and incorporated. Then I'm going to let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes before baking it. Once again, I'm going to bake this on 300 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. One more thing I forgot to mention, I did add oil to this as well, except for I used coconut oil instead of avocado oil this time. I'm also using parchment paper, and I'm applying a little bit of coconut oil to this, and I'm going to go ahead and bake it in my oven. My oven is already preheated, by the way. So same process. Once you are done coating your parchment paper or your baking sheet, you want to dump the whole thing on the sheet and just give it a good spread, and spread it as thin as you can spread it so that it gets flatter. The flatter it is, the more crispy it gets, and also it bakes evenly. Initially, I started using the spatula that I was using to mix the ingredients. However, it's best to pat it down with something flat and get it as flat as possible. Unfortunately, this beautiful color did not last after it was done baking. It turned more brown like this. But anyway, it is so good. It's kind of spicy because of the ginger, but it's the flavor that I was going for, the spicy, cheesy kind of flavor. But anyway, you can use these crackers just like you would use any crackers. You can top it with tuna salad. You can eat it with cheese or whatever you use crackers for. Eat it with soup. But same thing, be gentle when you cut this because it can break into pieces. And like I say, you don't have to be fancy either. You can literally just snap it into whatever shapes you want. But yes, I'm just so excited that not only can I make and eat better tasting crackers that are way better for me, but I can also recycle some of the foods that I would normally throw away, and most people do as well. So this is just a way better win-win situation when it comes to eating healthier. Anyway, this wraps it up for this video. If you like this video or learn anything from it, please don't forget to give it a like. Also, if you're leveling up and wanting to learn more recipes, when it comes to healthier recipes, whether it's food recipes or beauty recipes, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that post notification button so that you'll be notified every time I post a video. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you are, and I hope to catch you on my next video.